The most common harmonica by far used by professional harmonica players is the Hohner Marine Band series of harmonicas. The ones that I recommend to my students, and most of my students use these, is the Hohner Crossover. This is their flagship model. They have the Crossover, then the Marine Band Deluxe below that, the standard Marine Band, which is actually what I play. Mine happens to be customized by Joe Falisco. And there's also the Special 20. And for the budget-minded player, Special 20 has been a go-to harmonica, good harmonica out of the box for a reasonable price for harmonica players for a long time. So if you don't mind spending a little bit of money on your hobby, get the Crossover. If you are on a little bit of a budget, the Special 20 will do the job just fine. Let's talk about the construction of the harmonica. Let's go from the inside out. The comb of the harmonica directs air from your mouth through the reeds. The reeds are the only moving parts on the harmonica. These reeds are riveted to the reed plate. As you exhale through the harmonica, what we call blow, the top reed plate containing the blow reeds will vibrate. When you inhale, what we call draw on the harmonica, the draw reed plate has the draw reeds, and the draw reed vibrates. The cover plate is simply there to protect the reeds so that your hands do not touch the reeds, but they have the most impact on the sound of the harmonica. For example, looking at the Crossover in my right hand, you can see that there are vents on the end of the cover plate. In the Special 20 in my left hand, there are no vents. The Special 20 has a little bit of a darker sound, more muted in other words, the high is a little bit more muted. And the Crossover with the vents on the side have a little bit of a brighter sound. In my opinion, it's better to be brighter because you can use your hands to make them darker and then open up the hands to be brighter. The interesting thing is even though the reeds are the moving parts on the harmonica, they are not what makes sound on the harmonica. As they exit the slot, the reed slot, and enter, what's happening is they're sending out puffs of air. So if I blow on the harmonica, the reed is vibrating. For example, on an A harmonica, one blow, it's vibrating 220 times in 1 second. So it's vibrating 220 times, and that's a puff of air as it exits the slot. Puff of air, puff, 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 puff. And the puffs of air are what send out the waves that we hear as music. Fortunately, the harmonica doesn't require much maintenance. Basically, I'll clean it every now and again just with a damp cloth on the outside. I don't go inside the harmonica. Whatever particles are being breathed through the harmonica and carried via our spit generally will run clear of the reeds themselves. So I don't go inside the harmonica, nor should you. Just clean the outside every now and again. Sometimes the inside of the holes get a little bit grungy, and you can use a toothpick since it's soft, just making sure the harmonica is pointing downward as you get rid of some of that mouth crud. After you're done playing a harmonica, give it a couple good whacks on your leg. What that does is takes any spit that might be gathering around the reed and the reed slot and sends it away from the slot. This helps when you pick up the harmonica next that the reeds aren't stuck. If a reed is stuck, play a chord around it. Say if my 3 blow is stuck, I'm going to open my mouth, tongue off the harmonica, play a big chord. Sometimes it's helpful to do a draw chord as well. And that helps to work the air around the reed. If you try to play a single reed that's stuck and blow really hard, as soon as it is released, it can vibrate very quickly and sometimes can cause a stress fracture at the base of the reed, and that reed is dead. You can carefully take a paper clip and run it lengthwise with the reed, being careful not to push the reed too far into the slot. This massaging of the reed can help release whatever is stuck. If that doesn't work, you can take the cover plates off under a good light source and possibly magnification. You can take a look at what might be between the reed and the reed slot and remove it. When it comes time for your harmonica to need tuning, because these reeds do fatigue over time, and sometimes a reed can break, not commonly fly out, but there's a stress fracture at the base of the reed where it's riveted. When you play on the harmonica, the most important thing to do is not to play loudly. That 1 blow reed is vibrating on the A harmonica 220 times per second. The 4 blow is 1 octave higher. It vibrates twice as fast at 440. 7 blow 880 and 10 blow, what would that be, 1720? 1760. Those reeds are flying. As you play louder, the reed is not going to vibrate faster, it's just going to arc more. So this door on its hinge is going to swing further and further, creating more stress at the base of this reed. In other words, the louder you play, the quicker those reeds will go out of tune. So for those of you who've been playing the harmonica for a while and bitch and moan about having to buy harmonicas often, it's because you're commonly playing too loudly. So that's the most important thing you can do for longevity. As it goes for working on the harmonica on the inside, we have a series of lessons by Kenya Pollard, the harpsmith. Let's talk a moment about keys of harmonica. The most commonly used harmonica by far is the A harmonica. It's a lower keyed harmonica, so it has a nice rich tone, but not so low that it's difficult to control with techniques such as bending. Speaking of bending, the harmonica that you'll feel the most comfortable on bending is the one that you first learn how to bend on. Eventually you'll learn how to bend well on all keys of harmonica, but you might as well make your most comfortable harmonica play on the most common harmonica used. Not only is it a nice sounding harmonica, it's also a key that is common for other instruments to call, more specifically for us guitarists and bass players, since we mostly play with guitarists and bass players. Our common harmonicas, in order from lowest sounding to highest sounding, you might want to write this down, are the low F, G, A, B flat, C, and D. Those keys constitute a pretty complete set of harmonicas. In many cases, those are the only harmonicas you'll need to even go out and do a gig. So it's important to pick up these keys over time, and I'm going to be introducing you to these different keys as you go through your lessons, because each key of harmonica brings its own unique challenges.